Welcome to Elk Shape YouTube channel. Dan Staten. We're gonna do Q&A number 10. Today is gonna be brought to you by Exo Mountain Gear out of Boise, Idaho. Making some of the lightest packs on the market for hunters. Beautiful winter day, the sun's out, and I'm gonna see if I can answer some questions. This one's from Ronnie Allen. Here is my questions. What is the max distance you will travel for a hunt? Can you provide a breakdown on your furthest driving destination, logistics, hotel, motel, resting? How do you make far hunting destinations more efficient? Well, let's see. I've traveled very far for hunts. Things like do-it-yourself hunts to Alaska. That's coordinating airline travel to Anchorage, and from Anchorage to smaller like Ketchikan, and then getting on a beaver plane, like a float plane, or getting in a Cub, which is like a two-man plane. I've hunted Alaska 3 or 4 times. All those, lots of planning, logistics. You have to start with kind of a budget in mind and work your way backwards from there. Your biggest expenses is travel, is the airfare tickets. Alaska's got a lot of do-it-yourself options still, and as far as like what you're talking about, lower 48 options, there is nowhere too far for me to travel to hunt elk if it's a great elk tag. I've driven to Arizona 2 years in a row to hunt the late archery there. I've driven to New Mexico twice to hunt September archery hunts there. I've driven to Colorado. I've driven to Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and eastern Montana. All of them are far from me. I'm in Spokane, Washington. It's not really close to anything but Idaho. So I've driven to Canada, way up northern Alberta. And so to answer your first question, there's not really a max distance. To me, my life revolves around family, God, and elk hunting. And I'll travel anywhere I can to get to a great hunt and have. Life is short. Life is short and time is precious. So set aside, a budget for travel. Usually I have a Tundra. It's a V8. I usually take my wife's Tacoma when she lets me, and so I'll save a little bit of gas there, but gas is very expensive. Last year I drove to Nevada. That was about 16 hours. I think I spent about $500 in fuel. When I went to Arizona, I took her Tacoma. I know I spent about $600 in fuel. When I drove to Arizona, that's my last trip. I drove straight from Spokane. It was 22 hours. I don't recommend that. I was just really anxious to get down there. I stopped obviously to pee and fill up the truck. That's pretty hardcore, but no, I think you could drive somewhere around 8 to 10 hours and then, take a break. I personally think driving at night is awesome just because there's way less traffic, although when you're in the mountains, you got to watch for animals. As far as camping and all that stuff, I like sleeping in the back of my truck, depending on the season. I usually will just throw a cot out and sleep right there or in the back of the truck while en route to the hunting destination. But as far as a motel, I would not like to put any money in a motel. I'd rather camp, save money that way. And really the most expensive thing is your airline, the wear and tear on your truck. You got to be cognizant of anything that can go wrong will go wrong, so be ready for flat tires. If you're bringing a trailer lights, brakes, all that kind of stuff could go wrong. So you need to bring a tool set, and you just got to be prepared for the unknown and unknowable. I highly encourage. 19 hours to me is worth it for elk hunting, so I would recommend go do it. I hope that kind of helps, and good luck on hunting Colorado. This question is from Mitchell Clough. He wants to know, he's from the Pacific Northwest, how do you choose units to apply for in other states? How do you scout? I've used Google Maps and they work pretty well. Just wondering if you have any tips when you look for a potential area. Thank you for your time. All right, Mitchell. Yeah, so the first thing I would say is get a subscription to GoHunt.com. It's like $149 for 1 year. I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of them by now. I've been with those guys for a paying member or subscriber for over a year. I really like their filtering system, their 2.0, where you can pull up a state, pull up a species, and you can filter so many things as far as harvest statistics. You can look at bull to cow ratio, hunter success, your draw odds. You pull up everything, including maps, and get great feedback on kind of where are the hard tags to get, what's realistic, and their draw odds are better than anybody else's. They're very accurate. So I would become a member of Go Hunt if you're serious about having an out west portfolio. period. I've been a member of Hunting Full, Eastman's member only section. GoHunt.com is by far and away the best, and I'm gonna shoot you straight. So I'll get it's worth its weight in gold, and it's only getting better. Those guys are killing it. As far as Google and all that kind of stuff, you know, everybody will tell you that Google's awesome, and you can put, you know, drop waypoints and pins and where to park and areas to glass, and it is true. Like, there's a science to it, and I wish you could probably do a video on Google Earth. I'm not an expert, but I do know that you can look up your unit, find access points, find little hidden gems, places that you'd want to glass in the morning depending on where the sun is rising. And there's a lot of tools inside of Google Earth that people don't know about, where you can look at the historical images and see what maybe where there's been burns in the past, or when it gets dark, literally like the sunrise, sunset, so you can kind of pick out places to glass for morning versus evening, which is bedding, which is feeding. Google Earth is, you can never spend enough time, and that's the whole art of hunting out west, is doing your research when it's not hunting season. You can't spend enough time on Google Earth. I can't say enough about Google Earth, and there's still the stuff I'm learning on Google Earth, that the tools are powerful. But as far as picking an area, I just think you got to start building knowledge by putting boots on the ground. And when you can't get there, you can talk to people that have. Biologists are gonna, you know, tell you a lot of information, but don't call them a week or two before the season starts. Call them this time of year after they've kind of gotten their counts, or they've done their flyovers. They have a good pulse on the animals, strength of their herd, where they winter, where they summer. Every hunting state has a different website with different rules and systems. You got to intimately learn all those. So I would basically pick one state and just work with one species and over several units, call several biologists, research hunting forums, geek out on Google Earth, and just try to find for hunting public spots that you can get to, that you don't have to, that you will have an opportunity to compete and work harder and get further away and find little hidden gems. So I hope that answers your question. That's a very complex question, but I'm just kind of giving you a general starting point, is to pick up the phone, get on Google Earth, and research more tools in Google Earth that you didn't know how to use, and become a member of GoHunt.com. And I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just telling you, it's that legit. This is from Nick Ursel. As a solo hunter, will you carry a handgun for predator protection or just bear spray? Depends. If I'm in grizzly country, I'm going to carry bear spray. If I'm in non-grizzly country, I don't usually carry a handgun. That's just the way it is. It's extra weight, and I haven't. So if I'm gonna carry a handgun, it's usually when I've maybe killed something, and I'll go back to base camp and grab a handgun or something. I always bring a handgun to base camp, or it's in my truck, or what have you. So if I'm getting into wolves, and I always have a wolf tag if I'm in Idaho, I'll grab a handgun. But I don't always, and it's cost me shots at wolves. I've had wolves at point blank range without a handgun, and it's, you know, to me, grizzlies is my main concern. Black bears just don't bother me. They can be aggressive, but in my experiences, black bears want absolutely nothing to do with we as humans. They can find a different food source. Moms with like sow and cubs, those freak me out. I'll give them their distance, and if they're on my animal, that could be a major problem. But if you have some buddies, you can all go up there and shoo them off. That'd be great. But I usually don't pack a handgun, so I don't know. It's just something that a lot of states don't allow you to do with a bow. I think Washington, my state, doesn't even allow you to have a handgun during archery season on your hip. So there you have it.